The beginning was the hardest part. I was completely blindsided by the loss. Couldn't let go. Couldn't think straight. I kept telling myself that the loyalty I felt toward her was love, but honestly it wasn't. It was the absence of self-worth. I was willing to keep taking hits just to convince myself that someone could love me. That's not devotion. That's a broken man who never learned where he ended and someone else began. What I didn't know yet was that the divorce was going to be the most important thing that ever happened to me. I got into therapy. Real therapy. And I started uncovering things about myself I had buried for decades, things that had nothing to do with her and everything to do with me. She had gaslit me, shamed me, and somewhere in that mess I had actually started growing just to survive it. I'm not grateful for the abuse, but I'm grateful for who I became on the other side of it. I also got my life back. I'd given up hobbies I loved because there was simply no room for them in that marriage. Hiking, reading, things that made me feel like myself. I rediscovered all of it. I made real friends, including women, something she never allowed because of her jealousy. I got closer to my kids. When she wasn't around, they started coming to me with the things they used to only bring to her. That role means everything to me. But I won't sugarcoat the middle of this story. The first several months were some of the darkest of my life, consistently brutal in a way I wasn't prepared for. If my kids hadn't needed me, I'm not sure I would have made it through. I'm saying that plainly because I think people need to hear it. Divorce can take you to places you never expected, and you need to be honest about that. But then one morning I woke up, and the pain was just gone. Not dramatically, not all at once. I just woke up and realized I had accepted it, that I deserved more than what she was willing to give, that the marriage had been dead long before either of us admitted it. Her affairs, her choices. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just at peace. This week, we finally agreed on everything: custody, support, assets. Monday, I go in and sign the papers. Technically, we have a mandatory waiting period before it's fully dissolved, but we've already been living completely separate lives for over a year. This is just the paperwork catching up to reality, and I feel good. By the end of this month, I won't be walking on eggshells anymore. I'll be able to breathe, take up space, actually live. If you're scared that divorce is going to destroy you, I understand that fear. I lived inside it, but I'm standing on the other side of it now, and I promise you, there is another side. What I didn't mention before was what happened when I stopped letting her manipulate me. My friends, my family, my therapist, they all helped me see what had been happening for years. I was good at rationalizing her behavior. She was good at exploiting that. I once apologized to her for discovering her affair. That's how deep in it I was, but the moment I stopped responding the way she expected, she escalated. She sent a written email, copied to both of our lawyers, telling me I was a bad father who didn't care about his children. Why? Because I wouldn't move into an apartment while continuing to pay all of her bills. That's not me paraphrasing, that's a direct quote from a legal document. She described me changing my direct deposit from our joint account to a private account as domestic violence. Her argument was that cutting off access to my paycheck was financial abuse. And since financial abuse falls under domestic abuse, she called it violence. Never mind that she has her own income. Never mind that I was still covering every bill in the house. We had been negotiating a separation agreement for months. She grew frustrated that I wouldn't start executing it before it was signed. So she demanded I transfer her several $1,000s immediately or she'd take me to court. And in the same breath admitted she knew it would be a waste of money. I agreed to send her a portion early in exchange for it coming out of her share of the assets. I documented the entire agreement in an email to create a paper trail. She later claimed she had no idea what I was talking about, and then accused me of threatening to sexually assault her in front of our children, which never happened. I want to be clear. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm not saying your ex will do any of this, but I've come to believe there is something clinically wrong with my ex. My therapist gave me reading material on sociopathy, and what I've learned is that some people become completely unrecognizable when they feel like they're losing control. So here is what protected me, and what I tell anyone going through this. Document everything, every major decision I made that affected her. I sent a memo to her lawyer, to my lawyer. I notified her over a month in advance that I was changing my direct deposit in writing. Every conversation where we made a decision together, I followed up with an email summarizing what was said and agreed to, copied to both lawyers. Every text, every message, every time she said something that contradicted what she later claimed, I have a screenshot. It is not fun. It feels paranoid at first, but I have never once regretted documenting something that didn't end up mattering. I have absolutely regretted not having documentation of things she later lied about. If your divorce is getting ugly, stop having important conversations verbally. Put it in writing every time, without exception. It might be the most important thing I tell you.